Oh, hey there. I didn't even see you. I'm just setting up for my little party that I'm having. Got all my invitations, just about to take them out to the mailbox. We have one for Miss Octavia, we have Ainchie the Caterpillar, and oh look, there's one here for you. Let's open it up and see what it says. So exciting. Dear insert your name here. This year you're invited to join a virtual Pride garden party hosted by Joey. That's me, the resident artist from Canvas Arts Action Programs. This program is presented by Garden Square as a part of Brampton's 3rd Pride in the Square. Virtual edition. With easy to follow tutorials using only materials you have laying around your home, you and your family will learn everything you need to know to throw your own Pride garden party. No watering cans needed. Wow, that sounds awesome. But, oh gosh, I guess that means that I gotta show you some tutorials then. So the first thing that we're gonna be making today is a gorgeous bed of rainbow flowers. These crafts are super simple to make. I think that they work great both indoors and outdoors. So let's get started. So for my first flower, I'm going to start off with the color red. The color red on the Pride flag represents life. So I'm going to be creating leaves that are in the shapes of hearts. So all you're going to need for these ones are some red construction paper, a pair of scissors, and a skewer, and maybe a marker or two. So what I've done is I've cut out the shapes of my hearts, and now I'm using a marker just to detail the tops of the leaves. This will really make them pop. Next, using a hot glue gun and some skewers, I'm going to place a little dab of hot glue and place the skewer directly on top of the leaf. This way it makes the leaf stand straight out. Remember that if you're using a glue gun, it's always great to have a buddy with you, somebody who maybe is a little bit older who can help you out. Tape them together and you got yourself a bundle of flowers. For the color orange, we're going to be making orange cactuses. Orange on the Pride flag represents healing. So to start off, I just cut a few circles out of some orange construction paper. The circles can be all different sizes. Once you have your circles cut out, take an orange marker and add some decorative spines onto the flat surfaces of your construction paper. Next, just tape them together to make shapes. Cactuses grow in so many different ways that there's truly endless possibilities. Lastly, I attached 2 little blue flowers just to make it a little bit more interesting. Tape on a skewer and you're all finished. Yellow on the Pride flag represents sunshine. So what better flower than a sunflower? So to make a sunflower, I cut out a floral shape onto a yellow piece of construction paper. If you have a difficulty figuring out what a sunflower looks like, I recommend just looking at a picture and trying to draw it freehand. I think it kind of looks like a big starburst. Then, take a little bit of black construction paper and cut a circle that fits into the middle. Pop on a piece of tape and add yourself maybe a chopstick or 2 on the back. And this sunflower is all finished. Green on the Pride flag represents nature, so I picked a flower that was a little bit more tangly. Using a jar lid and some green construction paper, I'll show you how to make this super cool craft. So the first thing you gotta do is cut out of the green construction paper what looks like a giant eyelash. Then what you're gonna do is take a little bit of hot glue and place it on the inside of the jar lid. Using your giant eyelash, you're gonna curl it around the jar lid until it makes almost a full circle. Then have some fun bending down the spines of this plant. This plant kind of looks like to me either an air plant or even maybe an aloe vera plant. I grabbed a different piece of green construction paper just to make it pop, but you totally don't need to do this if you don't have more than one color. So keep on adding more and more layers into the center of your flower. All those extra spines too, you can add them right in. The more full and lush this plant looks, the better you'll feel. Groovy. For the blue flower, you're going to start off with a blue triangle. I used a marker to draw some fun lines on the triangle. Next, you're just going to roll it up into a little cone. I'm using a piece of tape to secure the cone together. You might have guessed, but right now we're going to be making lilies. So to make the stem of my lily, I'm going to attach a chopstick into the base of it. Next, I'm going to chop out some leaves and a few circles to add into the middle of the flower. Blue on the pride flag represents harmony. So what better than some bluebells? Nice. So just a little bit of glue to attach that piece into the middle. I'm not sure what it's called, the stringy thing. And you're all done. Purple on the pride flag represents spirit. I'm going to be making some beautiful, fuzzy purple flowers. So what I did is I just drew a flower shape and then using my marker, I kind of scribbled in the rest. You might notice that I'm not using purple construction paper, but that's because I didn't have any. This applies to any color of flower that you're trying to make. If you have some markers or pencil crayons or anything like that, you can make any kind of flower you want. So after cutting it out, what I did was grab some purple tissue paper. And I'm cutting this tissue paper into tiny 1-inch squares. Next, using a pencil, I'm going to wrap this one square around the eraser bit. And then, putting down some white glue into the middle of my flower, I'm going to place these little squishy balls of paper down on top. This creates a really fun effect. The texture looks beautiful and it really adds something cool to any kind of flower that you make. Lastly, I'm just going in with a darker purple to kind of make my flower pop even a little bit more. I really love the way that these ones turned out. Lastly, I'm just again going to use a chopstick as the stem of my flower, gluing it down, and we're done. The next color on the pride flag is brown, which represents diversity. For our brown plant, we're going to be making some snake plants. Snake plants are pretty easy to make. All you got to do is cut out these shapes that kind of look like fence posts. Next, you're going to use some white glue, and I'm just going to glue them down onto a different color brown to make the edges of these plants really pop. Once I've glued them all down, I'm just going to cut them out, leaving a small margin so then that color that I glued it on pops out behind it. Now, using a brown marker, I'm going to add some tiger stripes onto the front of the plant. I'm attaching these plants onto this cardboard circle. This will give it the stability in order to stand up. You also want to zigzag fold all your leaves to give them a little bit of texture. Lastly, I'm going to use just a little bit of hot glue, and using the end lip of the plant, I'm going to secure it to the base. And just like that, you're all finished. Ooh! Black on the pride flag represents diversity, and we'll be making roses. So the first thing you want to do is take your black piece of construction paper and cut it into a perfect square. Then, using that perfect square, you'll cut it into 4 more smaller squares. Starting off with the first square, you're going to fold it into a square. and then once more into a triangle. Find the opening or the top of your triangle, and then using a pair of scissors, you're going to cut it into a half-heart shape. You also then just want to nick off the last little end of the petals. When you open it up, it'll look like this. Repeat this for all 4 squares. You'll end up with 4 clover-like shapes. But be careful about which way you cut it, because you might end up doing what I just am doing now. Then I try and cover up my mistake. So, you'll want to cut one of your clovers completely in half. Then the next one you'll want to remove 3 petals. Then 2 petals. And then just 1 petal. You'll end up with these shapes. So starting with the largest one, we're going to apply a little bit of glue on one side and then fold the other petal directly on top of it to finish off the flower. This will make that beautiful 3D shape. We're going to do this for the others. Nice. Taking a pencil, I just folded down the tips of the flowers to make them really bloom and flourish. Using one of the pieces that we cut out, I'm going to attach a little bit of glue and wrap it around a skewer. Try and wrap it so the base is really snug and tight, and it'll make the top start to open up. Again, just a little bit of glue to secure that last piece. Now, starting with our smallest flower shape, we're going to just slide it up from the bottom. Continue to do this until you're at the largest piece. Now you have that beautiful rose shape. Secure it with a little bit of glue. Again, using one of the pieces that I cut out, I'm going to slice out a few more single petals and just attach them to the stem of my flower. And just like that, you have a beautiful rose. Nice! Red is for life. Like a rose wielding a single thorn, our lives carry both gentleness and power, and deserve to be defended. Orange is for healing. Like a citrus tree bursting with vitamins, our history shows our resilience and regeneration in the face of challenges. Yellow is for sunshine. Essential to our growth, in the lonely shade we will wither, but in the light of our community we brighten and shine. Green is for nature. Who we are is natural and valid. A healthy planet is safe for all of us to share their true, organic selves. Blue is for harmony. Like a honeybee to a posy, our communities work together in the mutual mission to thrive. Purple is for spirit. May we always carry enough joy with us to stop and smell the lavender. Brown is for inclusion. Connected in deep brown soil, Not one plant should be in danger. Black is for diversity. The strongest ecosystems don't house just one plant. They thrive with many different life forms to uplift, protect, and celebrate. Together, our rich rainbow garden becomes a space where we can truly plant our roots and grow to our highest potential in every color imaginable. Perfect spot for it. Now we just have to wait for some guests to arrive. Oh look, here's one now. Olivia, thank you for coming. I'm so happy that you're here. What do you mean there's not enough decorations? Look at all of these beautiful flowers I made for our garden party. No, don't go. We can totally make some more crafts. Yeah, I have a really awesome craft that we can make using bubbles. It's super simple. Why don't I show you? Alright, let's get started. The first thing that I'm going to need for this bubble craft is some paper cups. I'm using paper cups because I can recycle them after, and also so they don't get any of my regular cups dirty. We're also going to need a little bit of paint. For this craft, I'm using red, orange, yellow, green, blue, and purple. Because those are the Pride colors, and I would love to have some rainbow bubble art to show everybody at the end of this. There's a few more things that we're also going to need for this craft, specifically some water and a straw and some dish soap. The best part about this craft is that mine is going to smell like vanilla and brown sugar. So exciting. So the first thing that I gotta do is take one of my cups. We're gonna go one at a time. I'm going to fill it up. Oh, just gonna fill it up. Just gonna fill it up. What's going on here? Silly me. So, the first thing that I'm gonna do is fill a few blobs into the bottom of my cup. The next thing that I want to do is add my paint. Again, I'm just going to put a few squirts of paint into the bottom of this. The more paint that you use, the more vibrant your colors will be. You don't want to put too much paint in it though, because then it'll be hard to make it bubble and froth up. Making a mess. So just add a little bit of water into it. Just a little bit helps make it last a little longer. There's all my colors. So let's start off with the purple. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my straw, place it in. Don't breathe it in, but blow out through the straw. You see here that it starts to make this tower of bubbles. What I'm going to do next is I'm going to grab my piece of paper and place it down on top of those bubbles. But this takes a little bit of practice. Don't get discouraged, just try it again if it doesn't work. There we go, that's more like it. Awesome! So I'm just going to continue this process with all of my different colors. You can get really creative and come up with some beautiful designs. Nice. By placing the cups closer together, you can also create really cool multicolored texture. Just blow them all up and they become this one giant blob of colorful bubble. Ooh. Have fun with it. There's so many different ways that you can get the bubbles onto the page. This is just one way that I found worked best for me. Bubblicious. So next up, I'm going to be showing us how to make tie-dyed paper. Tie-dye paper is a really cool craft that's super simple to make. All you're going to need is some food coloring and a little bit of water. I'm using water in a spray bottle just because I found it easier to get across the page, but you could totally sprinkle water or flick it with your fingers onto the page. So the first thing that you want to do is wet the page by spritzing some water on it. I'm doing this off screen. It might be a little bit hard for you to see, but I'm just misting my page. Not too much water that your paper gets completely soggy though. Next up, you just want to add a few drops of food coloring. You can already see the colors start to spread across the page. This can be very hypnotizing to watch. Try adding some other colors. As you can see, when the yellow and blue meet, they're starting to make green. By using the three primary colors, you can end up with an entire rainbow on your page. Look at how cool that looks. Wow. Beautiful. Ooh. Once you're finished working on your pieces, you want to hang them up to dry. If you don't have a clothesline like me, you can just lay them in the sun. Again, I would say both of these crafts should be outdoor crafts, just to avoid any messes. Now that I have my beautiful colored paper, I'm going to make a few crafts out of them. So for these crafts, I'm just going to need some tape, scissors, and maybe a little bit of string. Nice. So the first thing that I'm going to do is draw a few triangles. What I'm making in this first craft is called a bunting. You might have seen these in pictures of carnivals or at fairs. It's a little banner of triangles, and each one has a letter that spells out a message. So what I'm doing is I'm just cutting out a bunch of these triangles, and they're going to be how I say my message. What's really cool about this tie-dye paper is that sometimes both sides are usable. I think it's such pretty paper, and you can really use it for so many different crafts. So now that I have all my shapes set up, I'm going to take a marker and I'm going to write one letter on every triangle. See if you can guess what my sign's going to say. Nice. So now I'm just going to cut off a piece of string and just using a little bit of Scotch tape, just tape the tops of the triangles to the string. You want to give a little bit of space in between each triangle just so when they're hung up they lay nice and flat. In between my two words, I gave a little gap so then people can read it just a little bit easier. Were you able to guess what my sign said? Probably. Happy Pride. Here's some other things I made out of the paper. Something like a card is really easy and beautiful to make, or a bookmark. You could even try your hand at some origami. Nice! As easy as that, I now have my beautiful little tie-dyed bubble art pride sign. I love this craft, I love making this paper because there's countless things that you can create out of it. But now that we have this, hopefully Octavia will love it. Let's go set it up outside. See, look, Octavia, I made us a beautiful sign for our garden party. Do you like it? What do you mean you want more? How could we possibly make more decorations? More? Okay, well, we'll see you soon then. Oh look, it's Inchy the caterpillar. Hi Inchy. Ouch. Hey Inchy, welcome to the party. Inchy's a little bit shy around new people. Sometimes Inchy likes to hang out in the trees. It makes them feel a little bit more safe, especially when there's more people around. I have an idea though. Why don't we create a craft especially for Inchy? That way they'll feel a little bit more included at our party. It's super easy. Let's go! So to make our stained glass butterfly, the first thing that we're going to need is a large piece of cardboard. I'm using a pizza box, and if you don't have a pizza box, you can use any kind of cardboard, or it can also be a really great excuse to order a pizza. So the first thing that I'm going to do is trace out a butterfly wing. This can be a little bit tricky, but if you look up butterfly wing shapes on Google, it might give you a good idea where to start. The next part that I'm going to do is fill in where the segments of the butterfly wings are going to be. This took a little bit of planning, choosing how I wanted to be creative. There's a million ways that this could look, but I think that they would all turn out spectacular. Where the lines I'm drawing on the sections of the butterfly wings, I'm actually going to cut those out. So using my scissors, I'm going to cut out the entire shape of my butterfly wing. Next, what you want to do is grab a pencil or any sharp object and poke some holes where the shapes of your butterfly wings will be. This can be a little bit tricky, so if you need to grab an adult, I would recommend that. Next, I'm going to use my scissors through the little holes that I punched into the butterfly wings, and I'm going to cut out those interior shapes. This can be a little tricky again. There is no shame in asking for a bit of help. Nice, just like that. So I'm going to go ahead and cut out all the shapes on my butterfly wing. Let's speed this up a bit. Groovy. Now that I've cut out my wing, I gotta do the exact same thing, but create an opposite. So I'm gonna grab my other piece of cardboard, flip over my wing, and trace. Nice. Again, you just gotta cut it out. It's the exact same as the other side. Now that I have both my butterfly wing shapes, there's one last part that I'll need to make to complete my butterfly. That's going to be the center of its body. To cut out the center of its body, I just drew a shape that looked like, what does that look like? Maybe a moldy carrot. The next step is that you want to paint your entire butterfly wings and the center of the butterfly black. Put something down to protect your table that you're going to be working on. Nice. Now, to fill in the interior pieces of your butterfly wings, I'm going to be using tissue paper. If you don't have tissue paper, you could use colored paper or anything that's thin. you want to try and find the thinnest material to cover this. Fabric would also look really cool if you wanted to try doing some fabric. You could try doing saran wrap. There's lots of different options. You just have to get creative. What's cool about using a really thin piece of paper is that once these are glued into the interior sections of the wings, when sun shines through them, they'll appear to be glowing. So what I've done is just traced out one section, and now I'm taking some wet glue and I'm just going to line the edge of the shape. Then very gently I'll be placing that tissue paper onto the top of the shape. Just like that. I had a lot of fun choosing the way that I was going to decorate my butterfly. I chose to use pink, yellow, and red, but the possibilities are truly endless. Continue this step until all of the interior shapes are filled. And just like that, we have a finished butterfly wing. Doesn't that look beautiful? Now, you just want to repeat the same process. Be sure that you're working on the right side of the butterfly wing. Remember that they need to be opposite. This just takes a little bit of planning. Now that I have both segments of my butterfly finished, all I gotta do is glue it all together. So using a hot glue gun, again, if you need some parental supervision, that's totally fine. We're going to put a little bit of hot glue on either side of the wings and then place the body or the middle of the butterfly on top. Just pop it right down on there. Perfect. Doesn't that look cool? Lastly, I wanted to add a little antenna onto my butterfly. For this, I just used pipe cleaner, but you could use construction paper or chopsticks or skewers or anything that you have laying around. Again, with just a little bit of hot glue, I'm going to place it on the back and voila! Now my butterfly has a beautiful little antenna. Nice. Something else that I added onto my butterfly was these colorful streamers underneath it. Because I was planning on hanging my butterfly outside, I thought it would look really pretty when the wind caught these streamers. If you don't have streamers laying around your house, you could also use, again, some more tissue paper. If you have any extra fabric laying around, that would also look really, really cool. You could probably even use bits of yarn or string. So what I'm doing is I'm just cutting these streamers and then just taping them onto the bottom of my butterfly. This way your butterfly is going to look like it's flying straight through a rainbow. I think this makes a really, really cool pride decoration. Lastly, to hang up my butterfly, I'm going to attach just a little bit of string. You could hang your butterfly in a window or on a tree. You could make a whole display of many butterflies if you wanted to. So, to create a hanging device, all I did was take a little bit of string and, again, using some hot glue, I attached it to the 2 points of the wings. And just like that, we have our finished craft. I think it looks super beautiful, and my favorite part is that when the sun hits it, it looks like a gorgeous stained glass window. So let's take this outside and we can go and show it in shade. Now, where did Inchy go? I bet they would love to see this beautiful decoration we made. Come look over here. So Inchy's actually made itself into a little cocoon. Look, there's Inchy. They're inside their cocoon. Oh wow, something's happening. I think that Inchy might be trying to come out. Come on, Inchy. Here they come. They're coming out. Everyone, Inchy loves the craft we made, but I think they're still getting used to their wings. Thank you so much for joining our Pride Garden Party this year. We hope that you had fun and were inspired by some of these really awesome crafts we made. So on behalf of me, Octavia the Octopus, Inchy the Caterpillar, Inchy the Butterfly, and Joey, that's me. We wish you all a very safe, warm, sunny, and beautiful Pride. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.